As we quickly approach the trade deadline, the list of defensemen that the Toronto Maple Leafs are interested in continues to grow, but I don't think anything caught people more off guard than the report yesterday by David Pagnotta and Irfaan Gaffar from the fourth period that the Toronto Maple Leafs and Vancouver Canucks have engaged in trade discussions about 6'8" defenseman Tyler Myers. What's up, Leafs fans, and welcome back to Leafs Digest. Yes, yesterday before the game against the Columbus Blue Jackets, news broke from David Pagnotta and Irfaan Gaffar that it sounds like the Toronto Maple Leafs have some interest in Tyler Myers from the Canucks. We'll see where it goes, but the two sides have talked this week. The fourth period, also David Pagnotta, mentioned on NHL Network earlier today. Yes, we have heard rumors that the Toronto Maple Leafs were interested in some defensemen from the Vancouver Canucks, but to this point, it's always been Luke Schenn. Could the Leafs want to reunite with that big defenseman who came here and started his career in Toronto? It was a possibility. A guy who's a grizzled vet in the NHL, has played on Tampa Bay during their cup runs. He's got some experience. He's a heavy physical guy. But then all of a sudden, news breaks. Tyler Myers is on the Toronto Maple Leafs radar. Now, I personally don't think Tyler Myers is the guy to come here and be an impact player or make a difference and push this team over the edge. That is my personal opinion on Tyler Myers. He is 6'8", 229 pounds. Yes, he's a big body. He's 55 penalty minutes in 49 games. He's not afraid to play physical, engage in that kind of game. He's obviously a very big presence at 6'8", 229, 30 pounds. But he's a right-handed defenseman making $6 million this year and next year. So, first and foremost, is he an improvement on Justin Holl? I don't know that he is. And if you're looking at a right-handed defenseman in this lineup, that's essentially where you'd be looking to replace a guy. You look at down this lineup, Morgan Rielly, TJ Brodie. Brodie's going to be your number one right-handed defenseman. Timothy Liljegren, Rasmus Sandin. Timothy Liljegren has taken tremendous steps to become a reliable defenseman on this Leafs team right now and push himself into a spot where he can be trusted in the top four. I don't see him being pushed out of there. And then finally, the improvement you'd like to make on the third pair would be on Justin Holl. Can we make our sixth defenseman better? Can we make our third pairing better by improving on Justin Holl if you're looking at a right-handed defenseman? I don't think that Tyler Myers is the guy to do so. Through 82 games played so far this season, Tyler Myers is currently sitting at 1 goal, 9 assists for 10 points, 55 penalty minutes. He's got 55 hits. It's just not been the greatest couple of years for Tyler Myers since he's been in Vancouver. The other part of this is he's still sitting at $6 million per year this year and next year. So when I look at this Myers possible trade here with Vancouver, first thing you got to look at, Vancouver is going to have to eat salary. There's a 0% chance the Leafs would be interested in a sixth defenseman to come here at $6 million per. So your cost of trade automatically goes up by making Vancouver retain salary. Let's assume they take half. You're going to be now sitting on $3 million per on Tyler Myers' deal. Is that worthwhile this year and next year when you currently have a guy in Justin Holl who's making less money than that? Yes, he is a UFA at the end of the year, but I can't imagine he'd demand even $3 million on open market as a UFA. So are you improving on that position? No. Now you're also going to cost yourself more money on this player. So now are you going to include a third team in this deal to eat more salary? That is a possibility, but guess what? Price goes up yet again. You want to include a third team. You want another team to take more salary on. That price of the trade continues to climb until the point where is it worthwhile to go out there and acquire this guy to be your sixth defenseman when he is probably just as good, if not worse, than the guy that's playing for you right now? I can't see this being the optimal trade for the Leafs. Now, mind you, the Leafs have done pretty well in finding players, finding these lower-end defensemen or whatever it is in the trade market. Their scouts, their professional scouts seem to do pretty well in identifying talent and guys who might be able to fit into this team. They have had some swings and misses, and I'm worried that this might be one of them. The idea of going out and acquiring Tyler Myers just because he's a big guy, plays physical, I don't think is that great. I went online and started to read comments from Vancouver fans about Tyler Myers, the possibility of getting rid of him, and they are overjoyed about the idea of moving on from him. I read some of the comments, and here are some that stood out to me. He's the farthest thing from being a shutdown defenseman. A little bit concerning considering the Leafs are looking to acquire a guy who would be an impact player defensively and be a better defenseman. Red flag right there. He was never a great skater, and it's gotten worse in recent years. Okay, not horrible if you're looking for a guy who's just going to be a big shutdown defenseman, but from the first comment, they clearly don't feel like he's that shutdown defenseman anymore. He gets caught by faster players a lot, frequently loses battles, and gives up the puck easily. So now you have a guy who is big, doesn't move very fast, loses battles, which you're looking at this guy hoping and expecting that he'd be able to win them, considering he's so big, strong, whatever it is, he's not going to lose these battles. Well, guess what? People in Vancouver are saying he loses battles a lot. He frequently loses them and gives up the puck easily. This reminds me of when I was breaking down Jake McCabe and Connor Murphy. There was concern that, hey, these guys don't have the feet necessarily, so they end up in situations where maybe they get caught, they lose the puck, they turn it over because they can't skate themselves out of it. If you've got a guy who's not great at handling the puck, not great at moving it, and he can't skate, now you're in a bad position where you basically just have a liability on the ice at all times. Now, final comment, it echoes the sentiments of the first few, but it just really stood out in terms of terrible at defense and not great offensively. So what are you getting back in this guy? Hey, maybe he can kill penalties. He's got a long stick. He can break up lanes from that aspect. But if he's out of position a lot, if he loses battles, if he's not necessarily using his size in those situations, he's not really bringing much of a positive impact to this Leafs team with that. So I have some concerns there in regards to Tyler Myers, and I feel like this could be the wrong situation. Now, Bruce Boudreau, he was the coach of the Vancouver Canucks, let go this year. He's doing some work with the NHL Network now and David Pagnotta where this was discussed. And Bruce had some positive things to say about him, but even towards the end, it started to kind of remind you, hey, maybe this isn't going to be feasible. Bruce Boudreau said, he's played some great games, such a big body and a good stick. I think he would help. And my biggest worry is his contract. He has a $5 million bonus next year, so he'd have a $1 million salary essentially. If it was Toronto, if they can afford to get him in there and there's a history with Dermott Trade, this could be a good fit, essentially is what Bruce said about the possibility of acquiring Tyler Myers. Look, I think for the cost of his salary, it's far too much for this guy. He's been a polarizing player in Vancouver in terms of they brought him there, everyone was excited, then they paid him big money, and it really has not worked out with the Canucks. He's not a great skater. He's not great defensively. He doesn't have any offensive inclination, so he can't get you out of situations if he gets himself into one. And I don't know that he's an improvement on Justin Holl. I think if you're going to try to make an improvement on Justin Holl, or even if you're going to try to neutralize it and bring in someone who's just as good as him, the ideal situation would be to have them cost less money so that you're not paying more for the same player. Maybe they feel like there's a higher ceiling than we are seeing with Tyler Myers. Maybe they feel like bringing him out of that situation, putting him into a positive one can really impact him and turn things around for his career, maybe his season, and then next year. And obviously the Leafs like the fact that he has an extra year of term under him. But sitting at that $6 million price tag, I don't think the Leafs are concerned at all about signing bonus and all that kind of stuff. I think that the actual cap hit is the concern. What kind of gymnastics are you going to have to do to acquire the guy? Do you have to involve a third party? Some of those things are concerning factors to me, on top of the fact that I don't think he's necessarily an improvement here. So personally, I would stay away from Tyler Myers. He's not the guy for me that you go after if you're looking to improve the third pairing. He doesn't make an impact, but let me know in the comments below what you guys think about a possibility of a Tyler Myers trade, if you would do it, how much you'd give up for it, if you think it's worth it. And, of course, let me know if you think he's better than number 3, Justin Holl, on the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, because if he is, then maybe it is worthwhile to continue to take a look. But as far as David Pagnotta and Irfaan Gaffar reporting, the Leafs and the Vancouver Canucks have engaged in trade discussions about Tyler Myers. Very interesting stuff there. We will continue to monitor it here on this channel. So if you enjoyed this content, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to this channel. Trying to hit 5K subscribers by playoff time. We are narrowing down. We got a ways to go. So if you guys can help us by hitting that subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated. thank you so much to everyone who tuned in here today. Appreciate it as always, and you can always find us in the post-game live streams as well as more videos like this. Leafs fans, we will have more updates for you as we approach the trade deadline. Keep believing.